In this video, we will discuss about another design pattern called template method pattern. Okay. So before checking the definition, let's start with an example. Okay. Let us consider recipe of coffee and tea. So if you see here, whenever if you see the recipe of coffee, what you will do usually, first you will boil water, like you switch on the stove and then put a vessel and then you pour water into that and then you boil water. Post that, what you will do, you will add few coffee beans. Okay, few coffee beans into the water and then you you brew it for some time, right? In the hot water you will add coffee beans and then post that, what you will do, once that is done you will pour that in a cup, right? The third step is you will pour that in the cup and post that you will add sugar and milk. Like if people prefer only milk, they you can add milk, or if people want both sugar and milk they can add both, or if they don't want anything they can leave as is. So mainly if you see the recipe of a coffee, these are the 4 steps that are involved. Boil water, then add coffee beans to that, and then once that is boiled, pour the coffee in the cup and then add whatever you want. And if you see the tea recipe, what you will do to prepare a tea, first you will boil the water, right? And then you will take the tea bag and then you will, once you take the tea bag and then you dip in the water, hot water. So once that is done, what you will do, you will take the cup and then you can add sugar or lemon, anything. Now if you see, now you are writing a classes, Java classes for preparing coffee and tea. So what you will do, in like if you see these steps, you create a separate class for coffee and add these 4 steps. Okay, and then you create a separate class for tea and then you add these 4 methods, like boil water. Inside the boil water you will add the process related to the boiling water, and inside each and every method you will have the implementation to specific method. Okay, now if you see how my coffee and tea classes looks is, now here if you see my tea class looks like this: boil water, then steep tea bag, and then pour in cup, and then lemon. Okay, now for each method you will have its implementation. Here I just give it, like I just wrote the method, but you will have your own implementations for tea. And whereas if you look for coffee, even the coffee is the same. You multiple method, like you will write all these 4 methods. Like if you see, boil water and then brew coffee grinds and then pour in cup, add sugar and milk, and you have implementations for each these methods. Okay, so what I have done is, to prepare coffee and tea, you have created a separate class and then you have added prepare recipe of method, and then you have added all these 4 steps that are involved. And if you look at these steps has to be followed in order. Like if you see, first you need to boil water. This is the first step. Once you boil water, then only you have to add coffee beans. Like it's not that you add first add coffee beans and then you boil water. It's not that, it's not like that. You have to follow order. All these steps has to be executed in order, then only you will get a perfect coffee. So all these methods have to be executed in an order. Okay, now if you look closely here, now you have created separate classes for coffee and tea. Okay, your recipe, you are like, and the people are using your recipes to prepare coffee and tea, and that is working fine. But if you look at these methods, okay, coffee and tea, can't you see duplicate methods here? Here if you see, boiled water is present both in coffee and tea. Okay, and then this brew coffee grinds and steep tea bag, these are not matching. But boil water is the common method. Like it's the common method. Both for coffee and tea, you have to boil the water. Okay, but this is different. And if you see, pour in cup. So you, once these first 2 steps are done, you have to pour the recipe into the cup. Even this is a common method. And then this add sugar and milk and add lemon. These are different methods. These are not common methods. So if you see here, what you have done, you have duplicated your code. Like you have added boil water implementation in the coffee class, and then you have added implementation for pour in cup and boil water in both classes, both coffee and the tea classes. So even if you see here, boil water implementation is present in coffee, and you can see the same implementation in the tea as well. If you go to tea, you have this boil water implementation, okay, and at the same time you have this pour in cup also. You have in the pour in cup method in the coffee, and you have it in the tea as well. So these methods, these have the same implementation, right? But these are duplicated. So, and you should never duplicate your code, right? So that's why what you can do is, so since these two methods are common, what I'll do is, I'll take out these two methods implementation, boil water method implementation, and then pour in cup implementation from the coffee and the tea, and then I'll add a super class. So if you see here, what I should do is, I will take out these boil water, okay, and then I will take out this pour in cup also. And then what I can do is, I will create a super class, and then what I can add boil water and pour in cup in that super class, and tea and coffee can extend from that parent class, okay. That you can do. So here what I have done, boil water and the pour in cup is presented, like these implementations are there in the caffeine beverage, okay, and my tea can extend this caffeine beverage. So in that case, what I can do is, whatever the implementation that is present here can be easily used, right? So what I mean is, here now take out these two method implementations from coffee and tea, and then you create a super class here. Let's say you create one super class, and you add boil water method here, and then add pour in cup method here, and let these classes extend, okay. In that case, these two methods are duplicated, right? Now you can take out these two methods and put it in the parent class, so that you don't have the duplicate code. So that is working fine. But are that only the two common methods that you can see? No, right? If you see, brew coffee grinds and steep tea bag. So what you are doing basically, you are adding coffee beans in this for preparing coffee, and here you are adding the tea bag. So basically you are brewing something. For coffee it is coffee beans, and for tea it is a tea bag, okay. But brew, you are brewing it. So whatever the action you are taking is same, but for that action the recipes you are adding are different, right? For coffee you are adding coffee beans, and for tea you are adding a tea powder, but you are adding some material there. So here, instead of doing this brew coffee grinds and the steep tea bag, what you can do is, you can name this as a brew, okay. You can name both these steps, like this step as a brew, so that what you can do is, this you can create, like this particular method also you can add it in the parent class, right? And then let declare this as an abstract, because the item you are adding for brewing is different, so you can't put that implementation in the parent class, because here you should add coffee powder, and here you should add tea powder. So those are different. But you have to do brewing is there, but the items used for brewing are different. So what you can do is, let us declare an abstract class here, brew, and then let these child classes add its implementation, okay. That you can do. And if you see the last step here, add sugar and milk, here add lemon. So what, here you are adding sugar and milk, here you are adding the lemon, but basically you are adding some condiments here, okay. But the condiments you have added for coffee and the condiments you have added for tea are different. So what you can do is, though the implementation details are different for coffee and tea, but the method is same, right? So the process is same, but the items you are adding are different, okay. For coffee you can add sugar, for tea you can add sugar, like you are adding something, but what you are adding are different. So the same way we have done for you for brew, what you can do is, you can name these methods as add condiments. Okay. Now what happened when you did not take out steep tea bag, like steep tea bag and add lemon was like you just took out boiled water in the pouring cup and you have created a super class boil water which has implementation for boil water and the pouring cup. And then what you are doing is you just put these two classes two methods in the super class and all the other methods remains in the child classes. But if you see here, if you just take the, like let us say you just in the parent class you just have these two methods, okay, boil water and then pour in cup. So how your child classes looks, in your child class you will have prepare recipe of method, okay, you will have prepare recipe of method, and then you will have implementations for brew coffee grinds, and then you will have implementations for add sugar and milk. So the same thing here, you will have implementations for steep tea bag, and then you will have implementation for add lemon. So you are just using boil water and the pour in cup. But by looking at the method, what you can do is you can shift this prepare recipe also to the parent class. How that can be done is, because brew coffee grinds and the steep tea both are almost analogous. So, okay, you can name that as a brew, and the last method you can name it as a add condiments. Okay. Now our prepare recipe method, you need not have two prepare recipe method declared in coffee and tea. You can have a single prepare recipe method declared in your parent class, which will have boil water, brew, pour in cup, and then add condiments methods declared. And this will also have implementation for boil water method and then pour in cup method. For brew add condiments, you will have implementation in your child classes, because these are different for coffee and tea. Let us look at this method. So if you look at this caffeine beverage, what you have done is you have shifted your prepare recipe method from coffee and tea methods classes to your parent class. Okay, prepare recipe, it will have boil water, brew, pour in cup, and then add condiments. And then you have implementations for boil water and pour in cup as well, because these implementations are same for both coffee and tea. But brew and add condiments are specific. They, like coffee and tea classes don't have any common for this brew and add condiments. They should provide their own implementation. Like for brew, coffee should provide coffee powder, and for tea it should provide tea, right? So what it has done is it has declared both the brew and add condiments as abstract methods. Okay. Now what you can do is you can check this tea class. Okay. Let me see. Now let me comment this and then add my own other implementation. So now when we shifted prepare recipe method to parent class, and then whatever is common when you shifted it to the parent class, my tea class looks like this. My tea class will extend caffeine beverage, and it will just add implementation for brew and add condiments. Okay. And if you look at coffee, what it can do is it can extend caffeine beverage and it can add implementations only for brew and add condiments. And like if you see, your class before looks like this. Okay, your class before looks like this. You have this prepare recipe of method, and then you have your boil water, and then you have brew coffee grains, pour in cup, and then add sugar and milk. And if you look at the coffee, like if you look at the tea class, what you have before, how your tea class looks like, you have this prepare recipe of method, and then you have your steep tea bag, add lemon, boil water, pour in cup, everything you have. Now your class also, you see, you can see the duplicate code, right? Prepare recipe, it's almost same except 1-2 steps. Okay, and boil water and brew pour in cup you had here as well, right? You declared here as well. Okay, boil water and the pouring cup you declared even in your tea class. So by removing out the common things, your coffee class was like this before. Okay, now your tea class was like this before, but after removing the common things and putting that in the parent class, your tea and coffee class are very small. It's just this. like your tea class has to implement only these two methods, and your coffee class has to implement only these two methods. Okay, and if you see your parent class has this prepare recipe, and it has implementation for boil water and pour in cup, because the implementation details for boil water and pour in cup are same, right? And even the recipe is also same. It's just that for brewing and add condiments, these are different, and you have that implementation for brew and add condiments. So for tea brew, you are adding steeping the tea, and for adding condiments, you are adding the lemon. For coffee, if you look at it, you are dripping coffee through filter, that is brew, and then for condiments, you are doing add sugar and milk. So by using this, like whatever we have followed till now, what we have done, we have taken out common things, and you have created a parent class, and then you have provided the implementations which are common both to common coffee and tea in your parent class, so that there is no duplication of code. And even if you see here, prepare recipe, it is same both for coffee and tea, and the child classes need not override it. And let's say you want this recipe method not to be changed by your child classes, because this is the order they have to follow for sure. Then in that case, you can declare this as a final method. Okay, now what you have done is, you have created a recipe in the parent class and you have made it as a final. When you did that, what actually happens is, your coffee and tea, for sure it needs to follow this order. Because if you don't declare this as final, what people can do is, they can override this prepare recipe method and they can add their own implementations. But you don't want that, because this is the standard process that should be followed both for coffee and tea. That's where what you can do is, you can make this final prepare recipe as the final. And for few methods in the prepare recipe of method, you have what, this is an algorithm. Basically this is an algorithm for preparing coffee and tea, and in this algorithm you have multiple steps that has to be executed in an order. And for few steps you have provided implementations, and for few steps you let subclasses provide the implementation, right? This is what we have done till now. Now, this is nothing but template method pattern. Okay. So, the template method pattern is, you have a template method declared in your parent class and you make it as a final. Okay. Now, inside that you will have few methods or steps that has to be executed in an order. Okay. So that, and for few methods you can provide your implementation which should be followed by the child classes, and for few methods child classes can provide its own implementation. Okay, so this is called template method. So what we have done is, you have given a template for coffee and tea recipes. Still now, what we have done is, you have provided some template. Okay, this is the template you have to follow if you want to prepare coffee and tea. Okay, but for coffee and tea, there are few things that you have to add on your own. Okay, so for coffee and tea, these are the methods you have to follow, and I provide some default implementation for some steps like boil water and pour in cup. And for brew and add condiments, based on the recipe you are preparing, you add your own methods. Okay. Now in real life examples also, you have examples related to the template. Let's say now you want to draft an email to your friend. Okay, now you forgot, like you have studied how to like how to drop an email in your school days. Now you want to drop an email. So what happens is, you forgot where you should add from, to, and all. So when you Google for the email template, what you will do, you can get like this. Okay, you have to add to, you have to add CC. Okay, and from, you have to, like, from whom the mail is going, and you have to add the subject, and then here you have to add the matter. Okay, now this is the template. So what template does is, whatever it will give you an order, because first you have, like, first you should have to here, and then later on you have CC here, and then later on you have from, and then subject, and then send, and then you should have the body. but body should not be present at the top, right? First you should specify the sender, okay, sender and the receiver details, and then the subject, then you will have the body. And like let's say you open the Gmail and the Outlook, this is the template they follow, okay. Now first there should be the receiver details and CC details and the sender details, subject, and at the end you have the matter. It's not that, let's say this matter box will not present at the top, right? Because there is a specific order that has to when you are creating an email templates, right? And now what you can do is, let's say ideally if you are dropping if you are drafting an email, what you will do, let me draw. So what you will do here, you will have your like address right from, and then here you will have dear sir or madam, and then you will have your content here, and then you will say yours faithfully and your name, and then you will mention the sender and the receiver details. This is the email template you should follow when you're drafting, when you're dropping an email. Now let's say people doesn't know how to drop an email, what they can do is they can search for these email templates, and then they can take out the printout and they can fill this information. So this is acting as a template because it is telling at which place things are to be added, whatever the common things that people should follow for sure. It has taken out those common things and then they have created a template, okay. Whatever things that varies from person to person, it left those details as blank, and then the person whoever is taking the printout has to fill out these details, okay. Like whenever you are dropping an email, there is a specific standard you should follow. Like on the left side, okay, on the left side you should add your address, and on the right side you should add, like you should address the receiver, and then below that you should add the matter, okay. So this is the standard process you have to follow. Left side you have to add this, here you should address the receiver, and then here you should address the, here you should mention the content. So there is a specific order that needs to be followed. But though the places are same, the information inside it can vary. Let's say all the emails follow this standard place, like left side these details will present, and here you will have the method and all the matter. But the matter and the receiver details and sender details varies from person to person, okay. So how the email template got created, whatever are common and whatever is the order that needs to be followed, I will take out all those common things and then I'll create a template, and whatever varies from person to person, I'll leave those details as blank. Let the person take printout and let him add the details. That is what here you have done for the email thing. Whatever, like two has to be present at the top, and the specific order they have mentioned, and whatever are common they have mentioned, and whatever varies for person to person, that has to be done by the person who is taking the printout. The same thing here we have done in the template for the coffee recipe also. Now initially what you have done is, you have created a template method, or you have created a template class where you have defined all steps that has to be executed in order. You can compare this with the email template. So you have specified first to CC from subject. So all these methods are common, like all these methods order is specified in the template method, and for few it has provided the implementation, and for the other child classes should do. Here child classes are the persons who are taking the printout and they should add the details, okay. Now let's say there could be cases where, let's say a person is from India and they want to create an email like they want to drop an email from India or so on so address. So in those cases they might add like from address as country, they can add the country default as India, okay, in the from address. So because that is common for, like if you are specifically asking for the India templates, then what you can do is you can have country as India by default in the from address, because that won't vary for the India templates. And if you have some templates related to your college, because if you see, let's say a person is studying in a school or college, they will have a few templates prepared for letters or for some forms. Like let's say you take any form, okay, you are preparing for some exam, be it any exam, and you want to fill you want to fill application for that, like let's say you want to get an admission into one of the universities, and there is they will create application forms, and then you have to fill that form and then submit to the university, right? If you see, whatever the details that are present in the application, like they add name of the student, okay, details of the student, so all those are common to all students, and the details inside each and every column, like name of the student, varies from student to student. So all the application forms can also be compared with the template method pattern, because whatever details they need, they have created some application form asking the details, and they specify the order also in which the details are present, okay. And then, but since the details varies from person to person, they created a kind of template, and then they name it as an application form, and then they distribute to the students, and students have to fill the specific details, right? So that can also be compared as a template method pattern. So there are lots and lots of examples related to the template method pattern in real world in real world scenarios, okay. Like you can consider these application forms as also on templates, email templates, and if you see the house rent form, so what happens is they specify the owner name, rent and all. So where you have to add those details, they specify the template, okay, and specific details you have to add, so that is also a template. So if you see the definition of the template method pattern, what is it is, so template method pattern defines the skeleton of an algorithm in a method, okay. Now here you have a prepare recipe method, right? So it defines this is the algorithm for preparing the recipe. You have to boil the water, brew whatever, be it coffee or tea, pour the cup and add the condiments. So this is the algorithm for preparing the recipe, okay. It just define the steps, but the implementation details can be present in class, right? So the same thing is mentioned here, okay. It defines the skeleton of an algorithm in a method. Yeah, because we have done it in the template method, you have defined the steps, right, for preparing the recipe, and then differing some steps to subclasses, okay. Sub template method lets subclasses redefine certain steps of an algorithm without changing the algorithm structure. If you see here, it has created some algorithm. The steps has, first you have to boil water and then brew it, and for few steps it lets subclasses provide the implementation. For brew and add condiments, coffee and tea is providing the implementation, right? Here template method lets subclasses redefine certain steps of an algorithm without changing the algorithm structure. So this is the algorithm, and first step is boil water, second step is brew, and this algorithm structure you are not changing because you made this method as a final. So if you have declared this as a final, child classes are not supposed to override it, right? Okay, so this is what the template method pattern is. Let us see the class diagram of the template method. So here if you see, this is the class diagram. Let's see the class diagram of it. So this is the class diagram of the template method pattern. So what template method the pattern has is, first of all, it has a abstract class. Why an abstract class is? Because there are few methods for which the implementation provided in the subclasses, right? So those methods you are declaring it as an abstract. Whenever you declare a method as an abstract, that class is an abstract class, right? Here also we have done the same. This is an abstract class. Why this has become abstract? Because brew and add condiments you don't know. It differs from child class, from subclass to subclass. Okay, that's why you have declared these two methods as an abstract methods. That's why this class had become an abstract class. Okay, now template method, you have an abstract class in which you have one template method. Okay, this template method has it has defined few steps or few methods inside this template method. Okay, this template method will have 1 2 3 4 5 methods that has to be executed in an order. Okay, this could be any algorithm. Okay, be it an email template or be the recipe of preparation of tea, coffee, or anything. And then what it does is, let's say you have 5 methods. Out of 5 methods, 3 methods are common to all subclasses. So what you can do is you can provide implementation of 2, 3, 4 methods inside this abstract class. Okay, those are all concrete implementations. And for 1 and 5, you don't have implementation. Subclasses should provide implementation, and those you can declare it as an abstract. And your child classes can provide implementation for these abstract methods. Okay. Now here you have a template method, and you have declared primitive methods as well, primitive operation 1 and primitive operation 2, because inside the template method you have multiple methods, right? So all those called as a primitive methods. Okay. Now what your concrete class is doing, it is for first method and the second method. Whatever methods that are declared abstract in the abstract class, for that it provides the implementation. Okay. So if you take a template method, what it has is, it will have one abstract class and it will have the child classes. Okay. So these are the classes that will be present. Inside the abstract class, you will have one template method. Okay. In the template method, you will define few methods in an order that has to be executed in an order. And these methods can be present as an abstract methods or a concrete methods in the abstract class. Okay. Because for few, it can provide the implementation. So when the abstract class provides implementations for 2, 3, 4 methods, those are called as concrete methods. Right? These are concrete methods. And for the methods which are specific to the subclasses, it defines those as an abstract methods. Okay. So, so the template class will have two classes, and inside the abstract class, it will have one template method, and then it will have abstract methods, and then it will have the concrete methods as well. This is how a template method works. Okay. And there is this hook concept in the template method pattern. Okay. Hook. So what is a hook is, if you see 1 and 5, what it you don't know the implementation of that, like, because the child classes has to provide implementation. So even if you see here, these are the methods that we have described. Okay, for the prepare recipe, and for boil water and pour in cup, you have provided the implementations, but whereas for brew and add condiments, you did not provide. So these are all the abstract methods. These are all the concrete methods. Now you can there is a hook. Hook is nothing but that is a method which is not abstract inside this abstract class, but it can have either empty or default implementation. Let's say void add condiments. Okay, let's say add condiments is an like here if you see add condiments, let's say add condiments is not an abstract method. So sometimes what happens is people don't prefer adding lemon, sugar, tea. They just consume coffee or tea as is. So what you can do is, they don't want condiments. Okay, because people mostly sometimes they want to have a strong coffee and they don't want to add milk. So in that case, they don't want to add this condiments. Like, this method doesn't make sense for coffee class, and even for tea class also some lemon. So even this method doesn't make sense. Like, if you declare this as an abstract method here, then coffee and tea has to provide implementation, be it an empty implementation as well. But it doesn't make sense to force coffee and tea classes to have implementations for this add condiments, right? So because this is an optional step. Okay, because condiments can be added or not added, but if at all, if people are adding condiments, it has to end, right? So that's why you declare this method in the prepare recipe, because people might what happens is, people might not want to add condiments. People might want to add condiments. So you might get doubt, why to add condiments here at all? You can remove it. But if you remove it, if at all people wants to add condiments, they might go and add at the first step itself, which is not appropriate, right? So that's why if at all condiments has to be added, it has to be added at the end. But adding condiments can be a step. So in that case, what you can do is, you can provide an empty implementation. So if you have an empty implementation, implementation, by default nothing would be added. And in the coffee class, if people want to add condiments, they can they can write this method add condiments and they can add it. So in that case, what happens is whatever is declared here, it will be overridden by this. Okay, so people can still add their condiments according to their wish, and people can skip adding condiments also. So in that case, this method you can call it as a hook, because for this method you have provided an empty implementation. It can be some default implementation also, and subclasses can override the implementation or cannot override the implementation. Okay, so that is called as a hook. Okay, if you see here, coffee with hook and all. So now so if you see caffeine beverage, this is with hook method. Okay, so what is happening here is, if customer wants condiments, then only add condiments. Okay, now what happened is customer wants condiments. By default, what they are doing is they are returning as true. But this is not same, right? In few cases, customer don't want to add condiments. So what had happened is, by default, people has provided this default implementation true. And if you look at coffee with hook implementation, what they have done is they have overridden this customer wants condiments, and they are depending on the user. Whenever person is preparing recipe, it will ask user, do you want condiments? If it is true, then only this add condiments method gets invoked. If it is false, it will not call this add condiments. But if people don't want to override this, they can go with the default implementation, which is present here as true. Okay, so hook, this is called hook method. So a hook is nothing but this is a method where you have either an empty or default implementation. So in the template pattern, what you will have is, you have one template method. Basically, this is an algorithm, okay, which is declared as final, so that subclasses won't change the structure of the algorithm, and it provides default implementation for few methods, and for other methods subclasses has to provide the implementation related to that. Okay, that's what about the template method pattern. Let's run this. Okay, tea with hook and then coffee with hook. Okay, let me check this. Yeah, let us run this coffee with hook. Yeah. Let us execute this. Okay, what we'll see. So whenever, if you see, this is the test drive class, what we have done is, you have created tea with hook and coffee with hook. And when what happens is, here, if you see, you are creating new classes for the concrete class, because you never create you never create instances for the abstract class, right? So what happens is, you create an instance for your child class. Okay, and then you invoke prepare recipe method from your child class. So basically what is happening here is, your parent class is controlling the algorithm. Okay, because everything is defined. This final template method is defined in the template method. Okay, this algorithm is defined in the template method, but only the implementations are provided in the subclasses. So what is happening is, higher level classes are invoking the lower level implementation. Right here, what you can see, this is the higher level class. So higher level component is invoking the lower level component, but everything is declared in the higher level component. So this is also called as Hollywood principle. Don't call us, we will call you. So you as a child class, you don't call us, we have like higher level components, we call you. Okay, that is called a Hollywood principle. So here what is happening is, in the test drive class, what you have done, you created an instance. Okay, that you can put as caffeine beverage with hook as well. Okay, so you can do this caffeine beverage with hook, and then you can do this caffeine beverage with hook. So what is happening is, you are creating an instance of the child class. Okay, hook. Okay, you are creating an instance of the child, you are creating an instance of the child class, but what you are doing is, you are invoking method. Okay, you are invoking method prepare recipe that is present in the parent class. Okay. Now everything is handled in the higher level component. The lower level component, you just have few implementation details. Okay. And while designing this template method, don't put too many abstract methods in the template method. Okay. Because if you put too many methods in the template method, like add too many methods in the template. Okay. You add too many methods, and for those you don't have implementation details here, and the child classes has to provide, so that will become an overhead. Because if you put too many methods, abstract methods, and each and every child class has to implement those methods, that becomes hectic, right? So minimize the steps, minimize the abstract steps that are declared here as less as possible. Okay. So here what we have done is, you just create, like, what you are invoking the prepare recipe that is present in the higher level component. Okay. So this is called this is following one more design principle: don't call us, we will call you. Okay. Higher level component is calling the lower level component. It's not that lower level component is calling the higher level component. Okay. Yeah, this is the template method pattern. Okay. And this is the class diagram of the template method pattern. So what is happening is, you have this caffeine beverage abstract class, and you have this template method, and this boil water and pour in cup, these are the concrete methods, and these are the abstract methods, and the child classes are providing implementations for the abstract methods. Okay. Yeah.